Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant, everybody with Burning Rye. I hope everybody's been doing good and feeling good. You know, if you're not, then you could just beat it. You know, go catch yourself a thriller out there, because I'm bad. I don't know if you guys can get it, but I'm pretty much reading it out loud for you. We're talking about...
Just don't run to the arms of Billie Jean, all right? Because she's not my lover.
No, she's not. She's just a girl, okay? So we got to remind ourselves of that. If you haven't guessed why I'm just being dumb, I just realized I was trying to mimic Michael Keaton from The Other Guys, where he's just like, I don't want no scrubs. It's just, you don't know that's TLC. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, we're talking about another musical biopic, which is, I feel like this has been the most that's happened in a while. Like we had Bruce Springsteen's last year with Deliver Me From Nowhere, and then we had Bob Dylan's Complete Unknown in 2024. So not bad. That's kind of nice. But this is about the king of pop himself, probably one of the most innovative voices and entertainers in the music industry, and that is Michael, directed by Antoine Fuqua, starring Jaafar Jackson, which, fun fact, is actually Jermaine Jackson's son, aka Michael Jackson's nephew. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, this is a spoiler-free review. We're not going to ruin it for you guys or anything, or try not to at least, so bear with us. But yeah, if you happen to like the movie, like listening to us and watching us every time we drop something, feel free to give us that thumbs up to show your support. Ring the bell for notifications, and of course, subscribe. Just click that and join the ranting community that's ever growing and whatnot. So thank you guys. And with musical biopics, they can be very, I would say they're either, a part of a musician's life and how they got big, or it's the entirety of their lives and how, it's either their personal life or their career. And this was definitely, just because, if you don't know, Michael Jackson was a very controversial figure, especially in the last 10 plus years of his life. And then there were a few documentaries, almost 10 years ago regarding some of the controversies that happened. I'm not going to get into it right now. This movie definitely, essentially it's just about Michael Jackson as he's a little kid growing up with the Jackson 5, aka his family, and how he becomes the superstar that he became known to the world, along with, and then his personal life was about how he dealt with his dad, who was the manager of his career. And it has some really good actors. I mean, I think for Jaafar Jackson, given he's playing his uncle, I think he did a great job, almost like uncanny version of his uncle. We had Coleman Domingo playing his father, Nia Long as his mother, Miles Teller as John Bronco, was like his longtime collaborator and producer. And that's about all the faces I can think of at the moment. Going into it, just because I have my own personal reservations for Michael Jackson, I was like, let's see how this movie does. Like, it's probably going to be broad strokes of everything. And I honestly was a little bit, my expectations are definitely different. I think this movie very surprised me. I actually had some fun with it, just because being the king of pop, he's got some crazy hits. Basically everything I listed are some of my favorite songs, like Billie Jean, Bad, Thriller, Beat It. So, and then also his songs with the Jackson 5, like ABC and I Want You Back and stuff like that. So it was definitely a very nostalgic film, kind of reminded me of my childhood a little bit, given I did not grow up in that same time period. But before I keep going, I kind of have to get my thoughts together. Bern, how did you feel about this one? I believe this is Antoine Fuqua's first biopic as well. I can't think if he's done another one, but what did you think about the movie in general, and what were your expectations for this?
Yeah, so this one is kind of hard, like trying to figure out like what this movie would give us, because just like you said, when it comes to musical biopics, it can go either way, right? It can either go, the full spectrum of this artist's life, or it can focus in on a moment in time, in a particular period of their career, and explore them, like what they were going through at that time. And for me personally, I kind of tend to lean more towards liking the latter. I like it when the movie's a little bit more focused. I feel like when you try to do too much, it kind of just becomes a Cliff Notes version of this person's life, and unless they do it in a very fun and stylistic way, such as the Elvis movie or Rocket Man, which is still one of my favorites. It's gonna be hard to sort of like capture all that because it's too much. It literally is too much to sort of like pull in and give us an idea of like who this person was at all these different stages of their lives. So the fact that this movie kind of did that, we don't get the full spectrum of his career. We get up to basically the beginning of the 90s. So for people who are aware of Michael Jackson, you're just getting that sort of era of him. It still runs into those issues, I think, unfortunately, where it does feel like it's trying to do a little bit too much. And that was a little bit unfortunate. But like you said, the things that do make this movie entertaining and still watchable, I think, is the performances here. I think Jaafar Jackson, like you called out, I think he did a really good performance as his uncle Michael Jackson. When it comes to like these sort of things, it's kind of hard not to fall into like just like an impression, right, of this person, or there's a bunch of like Michael Jackson performers out there, people like like making money off of like acting like him, pretending to be him, putting on performances of him. And with someone as big as him, that's kind of the worry coming into it. But I think Jaafar Jackson did an excellent job, and not only getting a lot of the little mannerisms, but also making it feel like an actual character, right? Making it feel like he's portraying an actual person, not just some sort of like caricature of this person. Like it was actually a well-defined performance, and I think he did a really good job. I believe this is his first acting performance, and what a way to come out. I think him and Antoine Fuqua knocked it out of the park on that end. And yeah, I mean, I think Coleman Domingo is just one of the most consistent performers that we have today. I think he's pretty great in the role as Joseph, the dad here. I will say that the writing for his character is a little bit one note. He's just kind of a monster the entire time, which I don't know what he was like in real life, obviously, but I'm assuming a lot of the things we see in the movie are fairly accurate. But it just got to a point where it was just like, oh, this is just all this character is. So it didn't really give a lot of room for Coleman Domingo to like flex his acting muscles. But what he was given, I think he knocked out of the park. His makeup, though, that was a little bit of a different story. It was a little bit hit or miss for me. There were some times where it felt like a little bit like uncanny with the way they try to make him look like the late Joseph Jackson. It felt like sometimes it looked like there was like a little bit of a beauty filter on him, just I don't know what it was, but it was odd. You've seen Coleman Domingo in all these other movies, you kind of know what he looks like, and to see him in this one, it was just a little bit jarring, I will say. But look, man, the musical numbers here, like you mentioned, Michael Jackson has incredible hits, and this movie doesn't let those down at all. It recreates those moments. It's hard not to like want to move in your seat when those songs come on, and I think in those aspects the movie really showed. It's just everywhere else it just felt kind of like it was almost like scenes weren't flowing into one or the other. They were just kind of happening. It's like, again, we're getting snapshots of Michael's life, and it felt a little bit incoherent there. But once we got to the musical numbers, the movie really picked up steam.
Yeah, I mean, the musical numbers were great. Just, Jaafar Jackson's movements like Michael would, because that's one of the things he was known for, was his incredible choreography and dance moves. And also, I like to think he did basically help really revolutionize the theory behind, like, the production behind music videos. Instead of just being a traditional one, they were actual short films. Like, I would say Thriller is still one of the best things to watch out there for music wise, and it's also great around Halloween time. That's almost like a little horror movie to yourself, so it's always fun. But yeah, the Coleman Domingo makeup, a little unsettling at times, because at first I was like, is that Coleman? I can't tell. And given he's got his way of talking, and he's got he's one of the best actors in the business, but just the makeup threw me off a little bit here and there. Also, I think I forgot if I said it earlier, but Miles Teller, he was in it, but I felt like he was a little disappointing. Like not disappointing in that he was bad, just that he wasn't utilized enough. But given that's like what Byrne was talking about. This is very much like snippets of Michael's success in his life without diving too much into his personal life aside from his dad and kind of coping with all that stuff, the manipulation with like a stage dad essentially. So really not much to say there. Also, I will say, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but Mike Myers is in this, and it's just funny who he plays because I feel like it's a side character he just wants to play all the time. It's funny. I'm not going to spoil it because for those of you who have watched it, I'm sure you'll catch on, or maybe you didn't notice either because, again, that was another one that took me a second to be like, oh, snap, it's him. So, with all that being said, given, again, like I said, Michael definitely had some controversies in his life, whether you agree with it or whether you believe it or not, really, because it's very debatable depending on who you talk to. So I think that's why they played it safe with the story. I wish it had a little bit more. I honestly wouldn't mind a little bit more on the makings of his music and how his mind worked, because we got bits and pieces of that. But honestly, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. I think it is a fun watch. It's not the best biopic out there. Like my favorites are still like Rocket Man, Walk the Line. I did really like A Complete Unknown from a few years ago. And Ray is another one with Jamie Foxx. But anyways, yeah, do I recommend it? Again, depending on your taste. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, I think you'll have fun with this movie because there were some applause at the end of it from some of the Michael fans in that film, in the theater I was in. And yeah, but if you're not, or if you're kind of on the fence about it, maybe wait till like a $5 Tuesday or maybe for streaming. But I did not mind this movie. It was better than what I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, this movie it's entertaining. You know, although it is safe. Again, as you mentioned, that the movie doesn't really touch on really any of the controversies surrounding him. So you know, as a reviewer, you can't really judge the movie based off of that since they just didn't touch on it at all. But you know, the movie that we did get again is one that I feel like it falls in the wave of like other biopic movies that try to do a little bit too much, and at least with this one, again, the musical numbers are great. The movie's just entertaining, and it's just a fun time, right? So I guess if you're looking for more, and for me, I was, because you know, this is arguably the biggest artist to ever live, and I feel like, you know, the movie should try to like reach the heights of like of that, you know, the caliber of the artist there, and I feel like this one didn't quite live up to it. But nonetheless, it's still a fun time for people who are, like you said, are fans of Michael Jackson or fans of the music, and just kind of want an entertaining movie on the cusp of the summer movie season, and one that they're just want to go in, have a good time, listen to some cool tunes, watch some cool recreations, and then, you know, just have a fun day afterwards, I guess. But yeah, so for me, you know, again, for all the reasons I listed, I think this one for me is just gonna be just a high 2 out of 5, not quite a 3, just under there, just because again it does feel a little bit generic, and it does feel like it doesn't quite live up to my expectations of what a Michael Jackson movie should be. But again, the movie we got, still a fun time at the movies. If you're looking to go watch this movie, just go watch it. I think you're gonna have a good time with it.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing as you, man. Like I was like right at the cusp of like 2 or 3, but as a man once said, he made Thriller. That's why he gets the 3 from me. Yeah, so 3 out of 5 for me, 2 out of 5 for Byrne. Not a bad movie, definitely not as bad as I think we were thinking it was gonna be. Still some fun. I think it's definitely one of those movies that it's a nice segue from, you know, the winter going into like spring and eventually summer and stuff like that. So yeah, for those of you who did happen to watch it, of course, without spoilers, let us know what you thought about it in the comments. Again, we're going into May, and I'm really excited because one of the horror movies I've been looking forward to is coming out, which is Hokum, so keep an eye out for that review. And also, I gotta watch The Devil Wears Prada, because that sequel's also coming, so spoiler alert, I've never seen that, so don't say nothing. But until next time, everybody, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.